there, this is the all D-string guitar that was in the Paul Davids video from earlier this year. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about it, maybe show you some cool things you can do with it, and maybe even show you a little bit of music theory. I always like to sneak that in there. Originally, I thought about doing a tuning like this when I was just thinking about trying to create clusters. And on a piano, you can create a cluster by sitting on the keys. A cluster would be just a bunch of notes. And to play that on any guitar would be impossible in standard tuning. And so I thought, well, why don't I take one of my cheap Squiers and put a bunch of high E strings on it. So this is the original Squier that I used for my cluster guitar. And this one, basically right now it's all Ds, high D strings, but it was basically originally tuned all high E strings. And again, it was so I could get those clusters that you can't naturally get on a guitar. So after I did that one, I thought, oh, I've got another Squier sitting around. Let me do the low E string. So I did this one, and I think this one's also tuned to D. They're all tuned to Ds right now. And this is just three low D strings. And I've used this so much. It sounds so cool. Clean, dirty, it doesn't matter. And then I thought, you know, I need something in the middle. So I went to my Squier guitar closet. I don't really have a Squier guitar closet, but I do have a lot of Squiers. And I grabbed this one because I had a humbucker in it. It's a HSS, is that right? I thought, because I'll probably use it gainy as much as I will use it clean. So I strung it up with 6 D strings, and I used Elixir strings, size 24s, and had it strung that way for quite a while and did a lot of stuff with it. But then I realized the most I'm really ever going to be able to play for tetrachords, which is when you play a bunch of scale tones in a row. Again, on piano, it's really easy. You just play like the first 4 notes of a C major scale and you get this, and this would be a D major scale. That's called a tetrachord. If I play the next 4 notes, it's a little more difficult. But I only have 4 fingers and I have 1 extra string, so I was like, well, you know, I don't really need to have another D string, so let me go down an octave. So that's where I added the low D string, and I think this is a 48. So these are all 24s, and this is a 48 or a 47. Depending on how you tune it, that might determine what gauge you use, or it would definitely determine. Obviously, this one is all 10s. And then this one is actually on this one, I don't know if I've done a video about this guitar. I will later. But I actually have a 50, a 48, and a 46 on here, just so there's a slight nuance in sonically between the strings. So if I play even just open, like, you know, just a bar or whatever, then it'll still be really cool. Okay, now I'm going to get complaints that I'm talking too much. Sorry, yeah, I'm trying to explain this. And I know bands like Sonic Youth and others have used all, you know, guitars tuned to all one tone. And you could do octaves. You could do 2 Ds here, 2 low Ds, 2 middle Ds, and 2 high Ds, and come up with some really, really cool stuff too. I don't have a guitar. Maybe I'll do that next. I do have an octave guitar where I just have 3 strings in 3 different octaves. And that one's actually really, really cool. So I've got, I'll have to do a lot of videos. I love the clean sound. I would use it maybe for swells, especially, like I said, clusters. Given the right context, that could be pretty cool. Where this thing really started to shine for me, though, was when I put some gain on. So I'm going to change sounds right now, and I'm going to put a really try to create kind of a tight. This is all in the box. I'm going to create kind of a tight metal sound, very little reverb, and probably some gate, so it just closes and tightens up really quick. But the seconds, the minor seconds and major seconds sound amazing on this. Hold on. All right, so now I have a gainy sound up. Check this out. I mean, it just sounds really cool. I can play all unison too. Put 3 notes at a time. Sounds really cool, especially palm muted. Anyway, I could mess around with this for hours. Okay, I want to show you some scales. And so the thing is about playing scales on this. Oh, one thing I want to mention too is if you want a different key, you just capo. Like if I want to do all this in F, I can just capo on. Sorry. So when we're talking about learning diatonic scales, normally when you learn like your seven modes of the diatonic scales, you try to learn all 12 of them. Well, you really only need to learn the formulas for the diatonic scales to really have fun with a guitar that's tuned to all the same note, because you're not really going to be learning shapes up and down. You're going to be learning the distances between notes. For example, a major diatonic scale, the intervals are whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. I can just play it like this, using that formula, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And now I've got a D major scale, or in whatever key I'm capoed on or whatever, it's a major scale. And I can play it 1 note at a time. So if I want to do gain. Or I could play 2 notes, like I could play the 2nd and 3rd note of the scale, then the 3rd and 4th, 4th and 5th, 5th and 6th, 6th and 7th, and then 7th and 8th. So we get this. Now I could play 3 notes if I want. I could play the open D string, and then I could play the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and you get this. So that's kind of cool. I could take a minor scale. So the formula for the minor diatonic scale would be whole step. So D, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. And so that would sound like if I played the 2nd, and well, if I just played them, just the scale with an open D string. And then if I played 2 of the notes, 2 consecutive notes together, I would get this. If I played 3, all right. What's another good scale? You know, the Phrygian scale is kind of cool. It starts with a half step, so it's a little weird right off the bat, but it's basically the exact same scale we just played, the minor scale, but with a flatted 2nd. The 2nd note's going to be flat, so instead of playing the 2nd fret, we're going to play the 1st fret. That scale would sound like this. I mean, with this tone, it's kind of a cool scale, so check it out. If I played 3 notes, So anyway, you could do this with all of the diatonic scales, or I'm sorry, all of the diatonic modes. You could totally do it. You could do it with other scales, like for example a harmonic minor. So that would be a minor scale, but with the 7th note raised. So the 7th degree of the scale would be raised up a half step. So check that out. I'll play it again, just on one string. Very metal sounding, very classical sounding. And if I were to play it maybe with 2 strings. If I were to do 3 strings. I could do 4 strings. I don't know if I could do 4 strings. That's very tough. I know you love to see me struggle. I love the struggle, actually. Oh, wait. Woo! I like this one here. All right, that's more than enough for you to chew on. I may do a video, if I haven't already, I may have, I don't remember, on the 3 low E strings, and like I said, this is tuned to D right now, and then also the cluster guitar. I'm pretty sure I did a video on it, but I don't know. I've done a lot of videos, and in fact, subscribe, go through all the playlists. I try to put things into playlists. You can kind of find more information about theory and scales and beginner stuff and strumming patterns and all that kind of stuff in the playlist. You kind of have to go hunting. I haven't made it super easy, but that's part of the fun, right? We're all hunters and gatherers. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. I hope this was fun. I had fun making it, I have to say. I hope it sounded okay. I'm actually recording the guitar and trying to do a new thing now, and I got a new mic, and I'm hoping it all worked. So we'll see. I may have to do this whole video over again. That would be a bummer. First world problems. All right. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.